So we are back and look who's home. Little Jackson's home from the NICU. And I wanted to give you guys an update on what happened in the NICU. We were there for about 2 weeks, so a lot went down. And I wanted to give you an update on how he's doing, how I'm doing, and just basically what's going on. First of all, thank you for all of your support. There were so many people who reached out and said that they were praying for us and that their thoughts were with us and everything like that. And it was so amazing to have that kind of support when we were going through such a hard time. It really meant a lot that you guys were that supportive. Also, I say this every time I make a video, but if you want a constant update on how we're doing or how he's doing, I would follow me on Instagram because I post about him probably once a day. Sometimes I hold off and it's only every other day, but he gets a post pretty often. So if you want to know how he's doing, follow me on Instagram. So, like you saw in my birth vlog, Jackson was born with pneumonia, and so he was in the NICU right away. He had a respiratory rate of like 150 to 175 sometimes. His stomach was constantly going, and okay, he's getting hungry. His respiratory rate sometimes was faster than his heartbeat, and it was really scary. We kind of pushed them from the very start to get them to transfer him to a different hospital. Our hospital just didn't have a lot of the resources that the children's hospital that was like 5 minutes away did have. And we didn't want it to get to the point where it was like really urgent that they have to move him. We wanted them to do it before it got to the point where we needed what they had, if that makes sense. So we pushed them on it for a while. Then he was born on Tuesday, then on Thursday, the pediatrician came in and said that they were going to transfer him to the primary children's hospital, which we were actually very excited about. It was scary, but we wanted that. So remember how I got a new camera and I was all excited to film a bunch of stuff for Jackson with my new camera? Well, I left the memory card in my laptop, which Kelly just took home. But I did want to give an update, so as awful as I look, and as much as it sucks that I have to use my phone, they are officially transferring him to primary children's hospital, which I'm like happy about but also sad about. You know, like I know that he's gonna get a lot better care. I know that it's good for them to have have everything on deck, so if he gets worse at all, like they don't have to transfer him in an emergency situation. They'll have everything, because this is a great hospital and everything, but they don't have everything and they might need to intubate him, and so that's why he's going. They don't need to right now, but they think it's a possibility, so they're transferring him just in case they do. Anyway, Kelly just went to pick up my mom. They're getting ready to discharge me. I still have all my stuff, but then we're gonna go and see him there. So it made us happy. They transferred him. They immediately intubated him because it just was better for him. And they put a PICC line in, which basically goes into his arm and goes into his chest and sits right above his heart. And that's how they would give him his antibiotics and everything. It was better to do that because that way they didn't have to constantly poke him to give him his antibiotics. So that was really just scary. There was just a lot of things going on very quickly, and every day there was something new. We found out that he did have pneumonia, so he had to be on antibiotics. Then one day we came in and they said something like, he had some weird twitches in his sleep, so we're thinking that he might be having seizures. So we're going to put a brain monitor on him for about 24 hours, which was so scary. So we came in, he had this brain monitor on. It was just terrifying. But he was fine. Everything was fine. Then they told us that there was a chance that they were going to do a spinal tap on him to see if he had meningitis, because apparently it's fairly common for people or babies with pneumonia to also get meningitis in their brain. So they did the spinal tap and he did have meningitis. They gave him the meningitis dose of antibiotics from the very start just to be careful. So we only had to do the 14-day treatment of antibiotics, which was awesome. And he started to get better very quickly. The first week or so was really scary. He was always sedated, or he was on morphine drip, so he'd just sleep all day long. He wasn't moving. It was just awful being in the hospital. We'd only go for like half an hour at a time because we couldn't do anything. I was pumping constantly because they said eventually they would feed him, and they did, which was really exciting. But they gave him a feeding tube right around the same time that they extubated him, which was awesome because we got to finally hold him. And that was about a week and a half almost after he'd been there. So Kelly didn't get to hold him until he was about a week and a half old, which was just so sucky. Oh, they're being so wobbled, huh? Yeah. So we didn't get to hold him for a while, but finally they extubated him. They put a feeding tube in, so he was, oh, there you go. Up until that point, they were just giving him like sugar water and like fats and stuff like that. They told me exactly what it was, but I don't really remember. But eventually he got better, and basically it just came down to, yes, he has meningitis. We just have to run the antibiotics for 14 days. So they ran the course of antibiotics for a full 14 days so that 2 weeks after he was born, he was basically all done his antibiotics. He was done at around 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning, this past Tuesday, so about almost a week ago. So on Wednesday morning I really wish I had filmed this. I'm really like upset at myself. I was just running on adrenaline, so excited to bring him home. But on Wednesday morning we went in and they had everything ready for him. It was really cool because they have this little sign next to his crib that says like goal today, and usually it was like bring CRP levels down, you know, do this, do that, and this one that said go home, and I was just so happy about it. It was just awesome. And so they just gave us all of our discharge papers, kind of ran through normal stuff, and we got to take him home. Since then, he's been doing incredible. He's just amazing. He lifts his head up so much. I mean, he's almost 3 weeks old, so this is kind of like a 3-week update on Jackson. He lifts his head up all the time. In fact, if I'm holding him, because sometimes I kind of hold him in front of me and I like put my hand behind his neck. He hates that because then he can't move his head nearly as much. He loves just moving his head and lifting it up, and he's so strong. He's very alert. He'll look right at you. If you talk to him, he looks at you. It's awesome because for the first week of his life, it was like he was still in the womb, you know, like he was sedated 90% of that first week, and when he wasn't sedated, he was on morphine, so he was just tired, and so he slept. So the first week of his life, he was just out of it. He wasn't really moving, he wasn't really fussing, he had a catheter in, so he wasn't really like peeing in a diaper or anything. Like, he didn't really start living until about a week after he was born, and so I'm just really proud of the progress that he's made. I'm just super happy with everything. He's amazing. And we're so happy to have him home. Oh, okay. Oh, you so sleepy? He falls asleep when he eats all the time, so I have to wake him up so that he'll keep eating and he'll burp and stuff. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. He falls asleep while I tap his back. And so it's nice when we want him to go to sleep. That usually works, but otherwise he just falls asleep while we're trying to feed him. Yeah, he's just, oh, woo. I've made, there's this app called 1 Second Every Day, and since he's been born, I've been filming a second of his life every day, so I'll include the video that I've made so far at the end of this video. I think it's cute. It's just something to see, like, how far he's come already in his life. But yeah, like I said, follow me on Instagram so that you can keep up with all of the things. I will start vlogging eventually once we start getting into more of a regular routine, because he's really fun. Oh my gosh, see. You're such a grumpy Gus. He has a lot of facial expressions. He's so awesome. But yeah, that's everything. So thank you so much for all of your support. And do you want to say bye? Okay, say bye. Oh, he's so grumpy. Okay, bye.